Hey John, how's it going, brother? Everybody hopping on. Thank you. See if that worked right there. Get Mrs. Hardash and Chris in. Got you in. Now what about Chris here?
What is up, everyone?
How you doing?
Happy Thursday. Good.
Hey OM, how's it going, Oz? See if we get Chris on here. We're just getting fired up. No questions. Hey Herm. Hey buddy, thanks for hopping on. Let me get see if I can get Chris. It says you're up in here. Hop back off, I guess. Try it again. Or see what's going on.
Bald man is on.
All right, try this one more time. Boom. Okay, says you're up.
Play issue. True.
Canadian? We have trouble with the Canadian, huh? Internet?
Got it.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
What's up, Chris?
How's it going, guys?
Maddie, Kinzu, Kunstan, OM, Rick, Bernie, Frank.
Oh,
Thank you guys for hopping on.
Night.
in case everybody doesn't know, OM Cigars is now the sponsor of our show. Thank you, Oz.
Yes.
Just our
Thank you,
little
Oz.
show that we just do on Thursday nights.
Michigan
You know,
one.
we're just a bunch of nobodies. Don't even know our names, you know.
Well, some people. Yes, this is true. Anybody see Bald Man yet pop on?
I did. He's on.
Here we go. Think I got it.
Hey, Ellie.
Lovely.
We are launching the DiCE Society tonight. He's sideways.
Oh, no. So the bad thing about Instagram is you can't turn it sideways to get a wide view like Zoom. It would just turn everyone sideways.
Why am I sideways?
There you go.
Let's see if we fix this for you. Hold on.
How's it going, Mike?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
How are you, Justina? I know.
I am good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm great. I'm not worried about these two jokers. You know, I said to them, I haven't been on with Justina much, so
Yeah.
you know, you're the one that I'll have to worry about. You'll have to be nice to me tonight.
Yeah.
We're usually pretty nice.
Right.
Most of the time.
I
Hero.
would say usually. Yeah. Usually. We can
Usually.
stress that word.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Well, today, hey Craig, today's kind of a big day because they're launching, Mike and Craig, DiCE Society. And we'll get into the DiCE Society. Awesome idea. They got a web page up. Maybe we'll just get started. Mike, you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe like when you started smoking.
Sure. Well, legally, I'd say I probably started smoking about 30 years ago. I had my first cigar about 37 years ago. I think I was 13. I've always grown up in the cigar industry, you know, the cigar world. My dad and my uncles and stuff were big cigar guys, so it was sort of a tradition for your 13th birthday, usually that night or that Saturday night, they'd give you your first full cigar. And yeah, I did pretty well with it. Then I turned green and didn't pick one up for about 5 years, but you know, other than that, it was all right. Then I sort of got into them a lot more. I think I was living in London in school, 30 years ago. And we used to go over to the Lexham Court and Piccadilly Circus area, and they had the original Davidoff of London there. Guys were actually really great. You know, we were just a bunch of dumb kids, you know, 20 years old, going in, and they just started teaching us about everything. So when we came home at the end of the year, I think I came home for the holidays, and
Yeah.
most of my classmates were busy trying to, smuggle in, all the marijuana they got from Amsterdam. And here I am with a suitcase full of Cuban cigars for my dad and uncles going, please don't stop me. And, the rest
Nice.
is kind of history. Yep.
Do
Hey,
you
Tom.
remember? Do you remember your first stick?
I do. I do. It was a Nat Sherman Toro. The exact name of it, I do not remember, but, this was in the mid 1980s. So, names like Arturo Fuente weren't a big deal.
Yeah.
Davidoff was only selling Cubans in London. It was, you had Macanudo and those sort of things,
Yeah.
Don Diego's. And, Nat Sherman, JR, those were kind of the big names. And my father was in New York all the time for business. And, we're all originally from here. And that's where he would go. And that's what he brought back.
All right.
So
Hey, too
And
many.
he's broke you in with the Toro.
it's an interesting thing to that's kind of funny is that I know you guys know Mike Herklotz now, who has Ferry Otego, which is his brand.
Yeah.
And Mike used to run Nat Sherman. Mike actually is a nearby neighbor in my town, and we've gotten to know each other the last few months, kind of last year. And we were actually out a couple of months ago, and somebody was talking about it, and Mike looked up and said, I can't remember to save my life what the first cigar I ever smoked is. And I looked at him and said, I can, and it was from your place.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long have you been involved with the cigar industry?
Not very long. I think from a business side, I sort of came to it like so many of us have gotten more involved in the cigar industry. I just really enjoyed cigars, and I was into them in the 90s. And then when the whole boom came and I was living in New York City, I got tired of the shenanigans and things. And probably about 5-6 years ago, some friends and I decided to get a group of people together. Thought we'll have a Scotch and cigar night, maybe get 10 people. And turned out, I think we had 40 showed up, and everybody said, wow, will you guys do this again? So we did it 6 months later, and we had 50. And we did a couple of them, and then kind of post-COVID lockdown, we did one. We thought, we'll do it in somebody's backyard. We'll have 20 guys. And we had 75 people show up that were there all night. And, we thought, hey, if we can do this, why not kind of brand it, create a group out of it, see if we can raise money for charity. And we ended up, we did a couple of charity events. For a friend, we raised about $10,000. Last year, we did a big one for Cigars for Warriors and asked everybody to bring cigars and donate. And I think we were their biggest non-corporate donor. We donated like around 700 cigars to them. And it just snowballed from there. And I've got no point now where the only hair I have left on my head is on my face, unfortunately.
Yep.
Where I've reached a point in my life, and my background is in finance and investment banking and venture capital. And I just sort of said, I'm too young to do nothing. But if I'm going to do something now, I want to do it in an area I like. And I love cigars. And everybody in the industry is so welcoming and great socially that I've just started pursuing it. And I have a whole bunch of different things that have come up. And this is the first one. The DiCE Society is kind of the first thing we thought of that's actually going out publicly and people can see.
That's pretty cool.
How late were you up last night working on it?
Well, as I said to Chris when he pinged me about 5 minutes before we got on, was I ready? And I said, sure. I had a 2-hour nap at about 7:30 this morning, so I'm good to go.
All right.
Yeah, I think I stumbled in around 7. Yeah.
You
I
and
get
Craig have
that.
been working hard.
I completely feel that, not having much sleep. Work rotating shifts at my work. So the weeks that I'm on nights, I'm literally like, I'm running on fumes just to make it through the day.
That's tough when you switch from one to the other. So
Yeah.
you've got to do that 24-hour swing. But yeah, we were on last night and we launched just after midnight. And luckily I sort of expected it, right? You think you've got everything done. And the second you launch, that's when all of a sudden one after the next comes up.
Yeah.
You get crazy glitches. I mean, the funniest was I went and took a nap this morning. I came back and it was actually my brother of all people who said, I pulled up my phone and it says you have to approve somebody that wants to sign up to be a member, which shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should have kind of auto checked it. And I did that, and I walked into the office, and he said, "Okay, so I signed up, but now it won't let me in. Every time I click out and I try to go back in, it just tells me sign up again." So it turned out we had to go flip a switch and do that. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of running.
The joys of a website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the reception's been great, as I said. I mean, it's the same, and I know we'll you guys want to talk about the DiCE Society site itself and things later. As I said, it's a great thing about the industry is I got involved, and even how the Bald Man came to be is a hilarious story. I mean, it wasn't something I went out and said, okay, I'm gonna create this, or I'm gonna come up with this name or whatever. I mean, heck, I already own it. I'm bald as it is, so it's no big deal. But I was just starting to get more and more interested, and I was down on a trip in the Dominican, and I was communicating. And for anybody that's been down there, you know that everybody communicates over WhatsApp and Instagram, and I was trying to get some cigars, and I won't say who, but it was a family member's birthday, and I was promised a couple of Andalusian bowls were going to be delivered, and they were not, which again,
Oh no.
as I've learned over the years, as we just say, well, welcome to the Dominican. It's very laid back pace. We'll have it today. We'll get it to you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was going, I was going a little bit crazy, and the WhatsApp wasn't working, and people said, well, we all communicate over Instagram. Just go on Instagram. And I looked down and said, guys, do I look like I've ever Insta-snapped anything? Right? I'm like, I've never seen it in my life. And somebody said, oh, well, you're on here. You have an account. We just thought. I was like, I don't have an account. And they said, yeah. So I went and looked. Turned out my daughter, when she was about 10, I think, put up a picture of a Peking duck I made for Mother's Day. And, there was nothing else on there, but I kind of went on to figure it out. And I thought, I don't know who's on or what I'm going to run into. And at the time in my business world. So I thought, everybody's got all sorts of fun, cool names, like Doc, Mrs. Hardash. So I thought, I'm bald. I'm a man. It makes sense.
Why
Took a
not?
picture. Yeah.
There you
Took a
go.
picture, shadowed it out, and wrote it. And all of a sudden, I got back a week later, and I have friends that I knew, and a friend of mine's wife. Somebody looks at me and goes, "What did you do on vacation?" I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You have over 1,000 followers," and it just kind of snowballed from there. So
That's
it's been a
awesome.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Coop.
And you attended PCA this year, didn't you?
I did.
Tomorrow, Matt.
Yes. Yeah, I did. It was, as I said, it was kind of interesting. I'd been interested in it. I looked at it for the last few years, wanted to go, and then I sort of saw, obviously, it's not open for the public. And while we were working on things, including the DiCE Society idea, we hadn't made any of that public to anybody. So we weren't kind of acknowledging that we were doing anything in the industry. And they kind of connected with us and then reached out. And I think it's Lisa, who heads all the membership there, was wonderful and reached out and said, we'd love to have you be a member. And I kind of said, well, I'd love to, but a couple problems. One, the big thing is PCA, and I think this was in May. I said, so I see already like hotels are going to be sold out and, getting passes or things. And so she said, well, look, if you're interested, we'd love to have you. And I'd say that was a fantastic experience. You just get an idea of how diverse this world is. And, from all walks. I mean, you've got huge booths that are set up, and the El Septimos, the Padrones, and then guys like Steve Saka, going around down to little people. And what's amazing is everybody is so friendly. like even I did it, and as you can tell, I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. But I'm the kind of person, you walk in and you think, these are people I see in magazines, or you see on stages, or they have these big companies, and this is their kingdom. Like, they don't want to be bothered. And I was walking around, or you'll be walking around, and just looking at cigars in somebody's booth, and you'll suddenly over your shoulder, hey, can I tell you about this cigar? What can
Hey,
I help
Scotty.
you? And
Yeah.
it's Steve Saka, it's Carlito Fuente,
Jason.
it's great. And then meeting a lot of the smaller players. I mean, I think we all talk so much, and we make such a big deal of we're kind of in this second cigar boom like we saw in the 90s, and how many people are coming out, and there's so many where people are just, they're ordering packs, they're getting a shipment sent from overseas, maybe here to the States, slapping a label on it and calling themselves cigar makers. But you go there and you meet folks, I know a number of them, and you've never heard of them. It's them, it's their siblings, it's their wife. They're just getting started, and they have some fantastic cigars, just fantastic, and the prices are unbelievable.
So thanks everybody for hopping on tonight. We got 3 different giveaways tonight. We have Bald Man here. Him and Craig are releasing. They opened it up late last night, just after midnight, the DiCE Society webpage. So hang with us. It's going to be a good show.
We've it's 2 tumblers and a shirt, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. It's I think we said a Bald Man T-shirt and a Bald Man tumbler and a DiCE Society tumbler.
Nice. We like the tumblers.
Noise.
Which I will say I'm jealous, because I have the T-shirt and I have a polo shirt, but the tumblers are brand new. Even I don't have them yet. So whoever wins it's going to get the first one from each one.
Nice.
Don't miss out on that.
Yep.
We can handle that. We can't play, though, unfortunately, but you guys can.
Yep.
Well, that's all right, because I gave you and Chris the access code yesterday, so you guys can log in and, be our first purchasers.
Yeah, so on the webpage, too, we're lucky enough you guys can look our show up and check it out weekly on there. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yep. That was a great self-plug. I was going to, I'll still do my big shout-out for you later when we get to that. Or I'll talk about Justina. Yeah, you used yours up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. That's all up and running, and we'll talk about what we've got planned for it as well.
So, some of your favorite cigars?
Currently, well, in honor of being on with you guys and doing it, I'm actually smoking one of them. This is the Vicente Blends. This is the gold standard. Again, another one, as I was saying, about just great new cigars. This guy is, and you all know it. I mean, Vince and I have become very good friends. It's funny, people constantly ask us things, and they think we've known each other forever. I think we met a little less than a year ago, right when he was launching his cigars. And I just, again, when you say reaching out to people, I couldn't sleep one night. We joke, we say, it's becoming 2 old men, and I couldn't sleep, and I was going through Instagram, and ironically, somebody posted a picture of this cigar. Actually, I think it was the Honor, because it had like the little jewels in it, and I thought, what is that? Like, I've never seen something like that. And I responded back in a comment, thinking that the way the person posted it, it looked like it was their company. And ironically, Vince responded back in a comment, and I said, so I made a comment to him, and I was like, well, what are you doing up at 4:30 in the morning? Like, aren't you in Atlanta? Why aren't you asleep? And he wrote back laughing, and he said, well, I couldn't sleep. I'm an early bird. I'm actually in the Dominican, but no, we're based out of Philadelphia. And so I said, wow, we're like an hour and a half away. And 3 hours later, we got to talking, and
Hey, Ben.
he just offered and said, can I send you these cigars? I said, sure. if you've seen him, I know you guys have. I'm not sure there's anything that's like visually as stunning as when you open up one of his main boxes, and
Libation.
when you smoke it, it's one of the best draws I think I've had in 30 years. It reminds me of old Cuban, you know, high-end Dominicans from the 80s. And this is a brand that didn't exist a year um, ago. You know,
Great
I
cigar.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Fuentes. Um, I fully admit I've said it to the Fuentes themselves, so I don't have a problem saying it. I love a lot of their opuses, but I think the Don Carlos and certainly the Special Reserve that they have is probably my favorite of all of his cigars, which again I think goes to people's palates. You know, the higher price cigar may be an indicator if you're not sure what you're looking for,
Mm.
but price and label has nothing to do with it, and your own palate has a lot to do with it. For me, that cigar, I love the Cameroon wrapper, and nothing else can compare when I do that. Rather than some of the big ones, if you got a minute, I'll give you some of the what I think are more unknown ones, because I think everybody knows. I can mention Davidoff and Patron and things like
Mm.
that. It's like, yeah, I don't think anybody
Thank you,
needs me to
Hero.
tell them Patron is a great cigar or Fuente is a great. Um, I would say some excellent ones. Um, One I want to try is your sponsor, so I can't see
Oz.
it,
OM.
but I'll
Osvaldo
tweak Oz a
Perez.
little bit. Uh, he promised to give me some, and then he ran out at PCA, and we were supposed to get together and haven't. So, Oz, if you're watching, I'm still waiting on my cigars because I've heard they're incredible. Um,
They are.
I, uh, the new Ferriotego Suma, which is a little bit on the higher end,
Mm.
is fantastic. It's a creamy chocolate bomb. If that's your flavor palette with just kind of a hint of spice. Um, if you like the other main Ferriotego lines, I think Mike and Brendan nailed it with this one.
Mm.
So I'm a big fan of that. Uh, I think Alan at Family by Loyalty, uh,
Great
I
cigars.
posted that coming out of PCA. Uh,
Great cigars.
one one of the few cigars that I went to somebody and said, "Let me pay you. I want a box." Uh, he's just doing some magic there. Um, I think
Good cigar, Buck.
who else? Um, Chantel Levitt with Belladama Cigars.
Hey, Mr. Red.
She's a new brand, producing a lot of smaller cigars. I know Bill White kind of started working with her now. Just a few months back, they're doing some great things. I've had a chance to try some of their newer ones, and I've heard what they're going to be doing going forward. And
Mm.
I think a year from now, people are going to be saying, "How did we not know what she was up to there?" And for somebody as a woman who around the same age, I'll say, I'm sure she's younger than me, and just said, you know what? Why shouldn't a woman be able to get into this and do this as well as anybody? Heck, they have better palates than we do. That's scientifically proven.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
Justina, anytime these guys tell you about a cigar, you tell them. Don't let them tell you what the good
I think
Oh,
it's sort of gone that way.
yeah,
ones.
we already know that she knows what it tastes like better than us.
I believe it. Um, the Yeah, I think those are some great ones that I've had. Um, Another great one I'll tell you that I don't know anybody that's tried it. Well, Sagrado out of Colorado, but lovely cigars. They're out
Hmm.
of Green Bay in Wisconsin. I'm not sure. I think they sell outside of Green Bay, but if it is, it's kind of that upper Northwest area. Last I knew, they don't sell anywhere outside of that area. So, if they watch this, they know they're about due for my biweekly Instagram message to them saying, "Where are my cigars?" Because uh, they sent me some a few months back. I'm very polite about it. They contacted me and said, "Would you mind if we send you some?" And I thought, anybody that wants to,
Hey, Cigar Clowns.
send me and try them, I'd be happy to do it. Um, I tried their first line, and they were unbelievable. Some of the best cigars I've had in the last year. And I
Really?
know they're coming out with, yeah. It's called Lovely Cigars. I know, kind of modern day stuff. It's a funny name, but Lovely Cigars, I guess 100+ years ago, going from the 1800s to 1900s, we had cigar factories all over the United States, and everybody was regional.
And
You sold
Canada
locally.
too, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everywhere. It's the stories you
Wow.
hear all the cigar guys talk about. Ybor City, they weren't selling all over the country, and that was the name. And these guys actually found an original Lovely Cigars box at PCA. They had it in a little acrylic case, and they've replicated their boxes. I'm guessing they make much better cigars than they did 100 years ago, but they were great, and they just came out with a new line. So look them up online, guys. I'm telling you, unless you're the kind of person that wants to lick a pepper stick, you'll love these cigars, and they're reasonably priced. And they didn't have them at PCA, unfortunately. I guess their band and box maker had an issue, so I saw they just posted about a week ago, and I've already been peppering them. I'm like, "Where's my mail drop? Where's my mail drop?" So, yeah, that's that's what I look for. I look for unique things,
Nice.
and I think everybody makes standard kind of stuff. I want to find somebody who's doing a unique blend, trying something a little bit different.
Yep.
So.
Smoky Boss Queen. Devil's Enclave. How's it going, brothers? Joey, Mr. Ray's on. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Thank you guys for hopping on. We're about 8:30, so I'm just going to do this now. Every week we team up with Stogies for Servicemen. Sean is the president of that group. He does a fantastic job getting packages off to our troops, men and women, all across. What was he saying? He's shipping one overseas. Japan, I think it's going.
Really?
Hey, Starfield Group. Yeah, so he's got them going all over. So if you guys would like to make a contribution, donate just a couple cigars is really, we thank you for that, or a 5-pack would be great. You can DM Stogies for Servicemen if you'd like to make a cash donation. 100% of that goes towards the shipping cost.
Yeah.
Everything is to the
It's
service.
pricey.
Yeah, great cost. Also, I'll say this, we got 31 people on. We do an after show. It has been awesome. Our guests normally hang out with us for a while afterwards. We'll hop on the after show. If you guys are interested in that, DM me, Dr. Holden 70. No.
Yep.
Dr. Holden 72. Sorry. I got my email mixed in my brain. I'll send the Zoom link out to you, and you guys can join us. We hang out. You smoke a cigar with us. You can talk to Mike himself. Also, Craig will be joining us, who is doing this with Mike. We get to talk with him on the HERFs. He's I don't know if I should call him a genius, but to me, he's a genius with the tech stuff, because I'm definitely not. So, and also we got Baldman. Do you have a giveaway? I say we do the first one right now. We got 3.
Sure. You know what? Why don't we start with the T-shirt? Then we can save the others.
Okay.
And give that one away, and I'll leave it to ladies first. So let Justina decide how she wants to give it away, or if she wants to ask a question.
Any question?
Any question?
Any question? Hey, I'll answer anything.
Question.
Remember, you just have to hit the bleep button.
All right.
Yes,
So you have to DM myself for the answer. I got my phone ready. See who's going to get me first. If you've been watching this show for some time,
Hey, jokester.
you should know a little bit about each one of us. I'm going to start off. What is Dustin's, Dr. Holden 72, what is his favorite go-to cigar?
Oh.
What is his favorite go-to cigar?
Ooh.
He's smoking at least once in every show that we have hosted.
This is true.
DM me, Miss Hardash. All right.
And you're going to get a T-shirt.
And you will get a T-shirt.
DiCE Society T-shirt.
That's nope, the bald man. We're doing the bald man T-shirt. We'll do a
Mhm.
Dice Society and bald man tumblers later.
Okay.
Okay.
Or you know what? They can pick Dice Society or bald man, whichever one they'd like.
Okay. You hear it.
Thanks.
And
So DM me
also,
with your answer.
I'll just throw it out there. Everyone hit up omcigars.com and you can smoke what we're smoking tonight.
Yes. We've teamed up with OM. This is like something we talk about because we have to like the product we're bringing, and I've smoked OM cigars now for, gosh, 2 years maybe. I'm smoking the one right now, probably my favorite out of them. Check his website out, omcigars.com. He says throw Doc in the messages, and he might be able to help you out. I think extra cigar in there is what he said. Don't quote me on that.
Oz is a great guy.
Yep.
It's like, I'm the first person to say, I think every day, the more I learn, the more I admit that there's more out there I don't know. And Oz is one of those guys that I just love to sit around and have a cigar and talk to because he's got a ton of knowledge about everything.
I think I learn something every time we chat with him, man.
It's
For real.
that funny you were saying about your go-to to Justina's question, and I saw, I think it's All the Smoke popped up there on the comments and wrote ADV, which is one I have to say, there's so many great cigars that I hadn't mentioned.
Yep.
And I actually had a lot of fun with them over the summer for those that followed it. That is absolutely one of my go-tos, I will say. That's a little bit bigger company than some of the smaller ones we were kind of trying to give some shout-outs to.
Yep.
I don't think it's one of the few that if I have to think back to 30 years ago when nobody really in the larger world was talking about Fuente the way we talk about Fuente now, but it was like you could do no wrong. If you picked up any stick off the shelf at your local shop, they were great. I think Adventure is that way now, and I can't wait to see the other ones they come out with. But I'll say I have a box and a half of King's Gold sitting in my humidor, and that Robusto is one of my go-tos.
That's got to
That
be
great?
my favorite too. And Justina
Favorites.
got me into
Where
them.
have you been? I would say my whole life, but my whole Doc and Chris life. I've been stuck with these guys. I keep saying, try the King's Gold, and they nod at me.
Yep.
Oh my
But,
god.
Oh, that's a good
My
cigar.
favorite.
I like that cigar.
All right. So we want to hear who the winner is. For those that did not know, Doc's favorite go-to cigar is Drew Estate's Undercrown Maduro.
Yep.
Always.
They're just a
on
good.
deck.
It's like a safe bet, right? It's not. You can get them on sale.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and they're good cigars.
Yep.
A good go-to.
now,
is
that the Anniversary 10 Lonsdale or the regular Doc, or both?
I am smoke. I actually do both. But this last order was the regulars. I like them.
Well, see, I'm going to throw the gauntlet down with you right now because you and I, and I think Justina, definitely Chris knows that you and I have had a fun back and forth for a couple of months about a drop that you're supposed to send to me, and we keep getting excuse after excuse. And I will tell you that I have about, I believe, an entire box of the Anniversary 10-year Lonsdales sitting in my humidor. And the deal was, when you sent me that stuff, I was going to send you at least 5 good cigars you would love. That box has been aging for over a year in my humidor. It's got your name on it.
Okay. I'm going to take you up on this.
You got it.
We got this.
That, or I'll bring them one time. We'll have to come down and do a little hiking in the woods.
Yeah. Take you hunting.
So the winner with the answer was Ricky.
Ricky. Nice.
He got
Mr.
it.
Reaper.
Like, soon as I asked the question, he was the first one to come in, like 20 seconds later.
Nice.
But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different people who responded. Some of them were multiple messages back and forth, but Ricky got it first. And let me see this one. We have 4 people who got the answers correct, but Ricky got it first.
What were some of the answers?
Aventura and Patron. Were
Uh,
the 2.
Patron's definitely
I can see the Patron
1926, one of my favorite cigars. I just don't smoke them regularly. They're a little pricier, so
And so I
it's not my
stress
everyday.
go-to cigar.
Yep. Nice. All right, 10 minutes. We're going to give another giveaway away. So hang tight, everybody. So let's get into DiCE Society, because I'm not going to lie. For the first month, we discussed DiCE Society, and I would walk away, and I'd be like, Chris, what is this DiCE Society? He's like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then we finally we heard late with Mike and Craig last night, and we were there when they got it up and running, and it's a fantastic site. They have, I'll let Mike talk about the site itself, but I think this is just a fantastic idea.
Sure. Well, as you said, and I was taking a sip, so if you said it, I apologize. But it's DiCE, DICE dash society.com is the website, and the
Can you throw that up, Chris?
Yeah.
Pin it.
And it's actually an acronym. What it stands for Diversified Cigar Enthusiasts.
Oh,
so,
I like that.
Didn't know.
And that's why it's not just a graphic with the cigar and the dice in the middle. It's that it's actually a little I, because it's not capitalized as one of the words. And it kind of worked all around when we were thinking of a name, because it sort of defined what we were trying to get to. And on one side, we wanted to define it, and at the same time, we really didn't. We didn't want to define it, which I know sounds very confusing, but I will explain. Which was the idea that this started to come about, and Craig and I were good friends. As I mentioned, the kind of cigar group and buddies. In the beginning, we live in the same town. We got together and did that. We formed the Ridgewood Social Club, and we just, as we got more and more into cigars, and I started to get to know people, and similarly, Craig was actually online and more involved with the whole, social media world than I was. When I got back from the DR that time, the first thing I did, the very next day after getting off the plane, was I went over to Craig's and I said, Craig, I brought back some great cigars. Light one up, sit down, and give me an hour, because I have no idea what I'm doing here. But Craig has, in the back of his house, he's got, kind of a barn storage shed, but it's really almost like a mini office. That he is retrofitted out, so he's got fans that blow the smoke and a heater and TV. So we call it the Craig Shack sort of thing, affectionately. And when the weather's bad, we sit in there, and we were sitting in there one night, he and I, and we were talking about some things. And actually, now that I think about it, he was dying to try them, and I finally brought him the Vicente blend. So he had lit up his first one, and we were just kind of talking about the industry. We were talking about different people we knew, and as I said, Craig knew kind of more people on the social media side and had joined some of the cigar clubs, and I knew people on the business side, and a lot on the corporate areas for my background. And it was just interesting that as we talked, we realized that there's so many people involved and that have a lot of good contacts or know a lot of people. And, it really should be a linear community, right? You've got people making cigars for people who want to smoke cigars, who love them so much. They know as much, if not more, than some of the people making and selling the cigars. I want to give that feedback right back to them. And this industry, what's great about it is there's not an owner, CEO, officer, probably down to the admin working at the front desk in these companies, who aren't cigar smokers and fans themselves. But yet, what we realized is, on one side, the great thing about our community is it's still that old-fashioned person-to-person community, right? Shaking hands, having a drink, having a cigar, seeing somebody, smiling and whatever. Now we do it somewhat virtually, but there's a lot still in person. The negative or the drawback to that is
Hey, Danny.
We haven't had real reason to develop it in that that's how it is. You know, I was with some of the folks and the national brand rep for Davidoff about a month ago, and I was explaining what we were doing to them, and I said, well, let me start by this way. I said, you're the national rep, right? So you're the equivalent for Davidoff of like a cigar company owner. He said, yeah. He said, we're here in New Jersey. I said, how many times a year are you even in New Jersey and get to meet all your customers in New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing it for, I think actually I saw them on Casa del Tobacco. We were up in Sparta, New Jersey, and they were in a white party. And he said, well, now that we're doing this white party and we're doing a white party at uh, the tobacco shop at Ridgewood near you, he said, twice. He said, so twice a year you set foot in New Jersey. And if all the stars align, you might actually meet one of your customers. And other than that, 99% of your customers have no ability to know anything about you, your product, what you think, understanding it, why you rolled a cigar a certain way or anything. He said, and you have no ability other than blind maybe surveys to find out from them what they think. I said,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you like to be able to interact with the community? And he just kind of looked at me with his eyes got big and everything. He was like, of course. And I said, well, what if there was a place where we could bring everything together? You know, cigar clubs, cigar smokers, manufacturers, retailers, reps, third parties. I
All
said,
at one site.
right, all in one place. I mean, and as I say, it's anything to do with cigars, cigar culture, or that we can pretend is related to cigar culture, right? I mean, it could be sports, it could be watches, it could be anything. And I thought, why not create that like used to exist 50 years ago, where you had your local central hub, community, local meeting place. Everybody came. You can
Hey,
meet
John.
everybody. You can introduce each other to everybody, and you can make whatever you want out of it. If you're the kind of person that wants to show up once in a while, great. If you want to
So
be active, great.
is
Yep.
is this something? I know we get a lot of cigar makers watching, or they know we have a lot of the viewers that know cigar makers. Is this something that a lot of the boutique companies can come to you and hop on and get them on your site?
Yeah, it's not being widespread and making the statement is we built it with the idea, and I think we've succeeded
Yeah.
with the platform that we launched with making it for everybody. And I'll step back from your question for a second and say it is probably the one time that I've kind of really gotten stern with somebody leading up to now, getting people involved. Um, was I in the beginning I was getting a lot of back and forth. Well, what about this or what about that, or you know, what about this group or that person or whatever? And I looked at everyone and I said, hey, first of all, clean slate. Secondly, to smoke a cigar in this country, you got to be 21 years old. So we're all grown adults. And I said, everybody's got to be big boys and girls and play nice at the table. I said, and
Yep.
everybody is welcome. And this is going to be what you, and I mean that to everybody watching and all of you guys, makes out of it. And that's what we've done, and we've seen it already. When we started out, we had some ideas. We put up some basic news sites. I had some thoughts I threw out to people, and as things have come on, people have said to us, well, somebody said to me, hey, I can't see shows like yours because I don't go on Instagram. So we thought, well, why just keep it to Instagram? Let's bring you to the community. And
Thank you.
as I promised I would do for Justina and Chris before, since you mentioned it yourself already, Doc, so guys, just for Christina and Chris, not one of the first live interview video shows that we've launched and put up on there is the Whiskey Wood Nash Show. And I think we've got about 4 or 5 episodes up already. I know I'm going to make sure that Craig gets this episode up immediately as soon as we're done. And I believe every week going forward, we're going to post them. As part of it, we're also bringing it to the YouTube channels that we've established. So it'll
Awesome.
be available there. It'll be available to our website. As we continue to build out, we'll be creating a separate feature channel for the Whiskey Wood Nash show. People will be able to find it. And I think that's something else to understand too, which is that, I hate the term beta. I hate that Google, got everybody to accept that you can write beta on a website, and that means it doesn't work, and you're going to be frustrated, and we don't care about you for the next decade. So people told me, and I refused to put the word beta on it, but today was the launch of the site. The way I view it is we're just starting, we haven't finished, and it's available for everybody. We have people that have come to us that have said, hey, I'd like to do cigar reviews. Great. We have somebody who's been doing it for years. They're on our cigar review section. We have some guys who do unbelievable reviews and whole spreadsheet ways of comparing cigars that are just doing it themselves on Instagram. They came to us and said, could we put something together? We said, you know what? You got it. They're on the site now. And we said, we'll see. And if, as we develop more, we'll create a channel for you. I had people from some of the cigar clubs that said, we've got robust Discord channels. What do we need Discord for? And I said, you don't need to use it. No problem. It's there if you need it.
Yep.
We have others like small retailers that have come to us that they don't even sell online. And we
Also,
said,
discount section,
yes.
kind of big for folks. They can hop on and look up if there's any discounts going on at different places. So there's a little section for that.
Yeah, anybody that has a business related to anything in our community that wants to offer a discount or a special and have a coupon up, whatever, we will put you up in the section. We will list it. By the way, I'll mention that everything on the website is free. We don't charge anything to anybody. We don't charge you to join. We don't charge you to be a member. We don't charge you to use the Discord servers. Again, we want to encourage people to use things. We want to help everybody grow.
That's awesome.
The only thing we ask is, to this point, to be fair, this entire thing has been funded out of my pocket and Craig's pocket. So we've said to people, look, if you use the platform and make sales, like anything else, appreciate what you've done and, give back and help us keep growing it, both for you and for new people to be able to do it.
Very cool.
And it's open. I will say, and I know it was a question you guys asked me in the past, I didn't forget, is that, we're here to answer questions. And we want to help everybody. You'll see almost every page and every section you go to, including yours, at the top. It's got a little explanation, and it says, if you've got an idea or you have questions or you think there's a way to work with us, click here. Here's the email you can contact us. We're on Instagram. It's at it's at the DiCE Society. I'm sorry, it's at DiCE Society. And ping us, DM us. I think anybody will tell you. Anybody that's real and looking to do something, we'll respond. We want everybody to understand what it is, and we'll help you any way we can.
I got an idea. Let's give a tumbler.
Good call.
Good call.
Chris,
All right.
it's on you.
Okay. How old was Mike when he smoked his first cigar?
Ooh.
Now, we did say my first whole cigar. I won't say how old I was when I took my first puff of a cigar, but...
So
Anybody remember that?
DM the bald man your
Hey,
answer to what age he was when he smoked his first full cigar.
Okay. DMU?
12.
Bald man.
Bald man.
155.
And you, which tumbler is this? DiCE?
Well, it's a question about the bald man, so I think it's got to be a bald man tumbler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bald man tumbler.
It's the bald tumbler.
Look at Havana Breeze. Aldo.
There you go. There's your answer. 13.
So who gets it?
Aldo is our winner. Is that
Well,
our winner, bald man?
Havana Breeze right above them said 13 first.
Oh.
Although I love Aldo. I hate to. All right,
That
DM
is
Bald Man.
So who was our winner? Aldo?
Havana Breeze answered first.
Havana Breeze. All right.
Okay.
DM Baldman, your info.
Well, Aldo, I'll make you a deal. I love your logos. So DM me separately, and I'll be happy to trade with you. Trade you a T-shirt or tumbler, whatever you want.
Awesome.
We'll take care of it. So,
Awesome.
Very cool. And I'm going to throw it out real quick, guys. End of the show, we do an after show. It's a Zoom. You can hop on, smoke a cigar with us. You can ask Mike your questions. Craig will be on with Mike, super nice guy. Hang out with us.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, Craig has been great. I mean, I've got a great, group of guys. Craig, Bernie, Be Nice. Craig is Zappa Cigar Adventure, Photo-esque, SSL, Dapper Dog. The 5, 6 of us. We've had a number of other. I mean, I could go on with the number of people that have been out there and been helping get the word out for us. You can see if you go to the website, we put up videos of all the folks in the industry. Everybody from Belladama to Bucky Sanchez to Mike Herklotz, Rick and Sarah Rodriguez, who I have to say that's another young company. Although people that know Rick know he's not young, been in this industry a long time. But I'll do it for Sarah because she's new to the industry. I just maybe my favorite new people I met at all of PCA. Just wonderful, wonderful people that have all supported us in this. And I think it was incredible. As we said, you guys know, I was talking to you guys at 1 a.m. That we're doing this whole thing, and I finally around 7 went into the nap for 2 hours and thought, gee, there's been one or two, a couple of hits. It was the middle of the night. I got up, I flipped on my phone, and it was like I couldn't even get through the messages during the day. The feedback has been incredible. The support has been unbelievable. I mean, we finally put it up yesterday because we were sitting here this week, and Craig and Bernie were saying to me, like, okay, are we ready to go? Are we ready to go? Have you done the last review? And I'm like, guys, 3 more people reached out and contacted me. I can't even get to it. Bernie was calling me and he would say, oh, gee, Bernie, for those who don't know, Be Nice, I think his tag is on here as well, is awesome. And, he would call me in the mornings. Every morning I'd be going down for my coffee. And if you know Bernie, he's probably at his lunch break at that point. And I would get the call from him. He'd be like, how you doing, my man? Don't have a heart attack this week. Because it was like every day we'd have 3, 4 more people calling us. And we just said, you know what? We just need to get it out. And I sat there today. We've got probably a dozen different folks that have reached out to us about wanting to do things with us, from charity opportunities to events, etc. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Nice, Aldo.
I just missed all those things slide up. It was all
Aldo's about to go indie couch.
Someone just did like a death scream in my backyard or somewhere in the backyard. So I was like, I don't know who it was.
Can you throw
what
like
it was about.
a conspiracy theory, like maybe Bigfoot?
Oh,
It was kind of deep.
This leads into a question, Mike. Aliens, yes or no?
Aliens, yes or no? Wookiees, yes. Close Encounters, no. Do I believe they're out there? Yes. Because I think the scariest thought in the world, or I guess in the galaxy, would be to think that we're the most intelligent life out there. So I have to believe that there's other life out there. in terms of doing that. But, and I'm sure one day, probably long after I'm gone, we'll find it. Do I think that they've been regularly coming here for centuries to probe us in unique ways in the most barren places of the desert? No. So,
It's a good thing Manny's not on here. He would have got offended.
Yes.
that's all
Yeah.
right. I've said it to him directly. It's okay. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
It's like cigars. Everybody can have an opinion as long as you appreciate everyone else's. I'm a firm believer in you do you, let me do me, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, getting in anybody else's way, let's all just have a drink, have a cigar, and have a good time.
Okay. I got one for you. Hottest actress you think is beautiful?
Hottest actress
Mm-hmm.
in my lifetime, Selma Hayek, hands down.
Good one.
Done
Ooh,
winner.
like them
Good
spicy.
one.
That spicy. That woman was gorgeous the day she walked into Hollywood, and she is more sophisticated and gorgeous now than 90% of people claiming to be actresses out there. I mean,
Yeah,
Good answer.
that is a good answer.
Yeah, same here. All right, 5 minutes. We're going to do another giveaway.
all
And
right.
don't forget to check out our after show. DM me, drholden72. I'll send you the link. We fired up between about 10 past to 9:15. I'll get the link to you. It may take a minute. We'll get it fired up.
All right.
Justina, you got a Justina question.
I have a question. All right. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I could have any superpower. What would it be?
Yep.
Probably to control minds,
Ooh.
because I have people that know me know my patience is not minimal; it's negative. And I have patience for most people as long as they're being honest. But I have people say they don't suffer fools. I don't do fool. I have no patience with them whatsoever. So to me, a lot of times, if I could do that, that would be fantastic. And
Hey, John.
I think we have too many situations of, for one reason or another, people make up their minds about something, and it leads them to all sorts of bad decisions or things that snowball into things that, if people would just stop, take a breath, and take a step back, could probably avoid 90% of things. I've said it to you guys. Just look at the four of us on here. I mean, what a motley crew. I joke and say, Doc, it's your circus of characters, and I say that in the best loving possible way. We come from all different areas, all different places, all different backgrounds, and I think we all know this in the cigar industry is what cigars do that nothing else in the world does, which is everybody comes together, you put all the garbage aside, and we all know it. If you sit down in a cigar lounge, somebody else is next to you with a cigar, and as long as they're not being a jerk, it doesn't matter, as I always say, if they're a CEO, a garbage man, or anything, left, right, or in between, nobody cares. We're all just folks having a good cigar, enjoying spending time together. So
Well said.
that would be it for me. So who's asking the last question? I think we got a last giveaway, right, to get in under the wire?
I
Doc.
saw a good answer from Breeze. They were saying time travel. They'd like to smoke a cigar with the Aztecs. I'd be a little nervous for that one, but pretty cool.
Yeah, I climbed those pyramids before they roped them off. I'm not sure I'd want to be smoking something with any of those guys. I'm not sure what they do after you had a smoke. So
Right. All right, guys, we're right at 9. We'll do our last giveaway. We'll leave this one up to you, Bald Man. This
all
is for a
right.
tumbler. DiCE Society tumbler.
Yep. And do we give away a T-shirt? Which T-shirt do we give away? Bald Man or DiCE Society?
I think
Ricky has to choose the T-shirt.
All
Not
right,
sure who the winner of the tumbler was.
so I'll do this for the DiCE Society tumbler. Name the first cigar I ever smoked, and I'll add a second question, which is, where did Craig and I first come up with the idea for DiCE Society? And whoever has the answer to that, whichever T-shirt Ricky doesn't pick, Bald Man or DiCE, I will send you the other one.
Okay. I know
Put
the
it
Or
answer to
in
that.
the chat. Are we DMing you or are we putting in the chat?
They have to put it
Yeah.
in the chat so I can see it as it pops up.
Okay. Aldo is saying, now they got to get both questions correct?
No.
Two separate.
The first cigar that I smoked wins the tumbler. Where Craig and I came up with the idea for DiCE Society will get whichever T-shirt Ricky doesn't pick.
Okay. Ricky says bald man. Sure.
Okay.
Nice.
Nat Sherman.
Oh, we
That's the
have
answer
a
to the cigar.
Nat Sherman. Bernie.
Who is it? So I thought somebody popped up right before Bernie.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, Ricky, Dan.
Well, he doesn't count. He
No,
only gets
you've already
one.
Cassidy, that's Cigar Buff.
the
First one
Cass
I've got is Bernie.
Ray is Aldo, and then we have Nat Sherman by Bernie.
All right. So,
And we got a Gurkha with John. He just
although
shooting that one out there.
I have to say, should we?
Anyone got it right yet?
How much time for? At Herm's mom's house. That's close.
it's not.
That's close.
It's Bernie.
We get.
Bernie got the tumbler. Oh, Bernie shooting another one. Vincent Blend.
Ooh, got the Nat Sherman sign. That's nice. So the question was, where were Craig and I when we came up with the idea for the DiCE Society?
Craig says Cigar Buff
There
answered.
you go. We'll give it to Herm. That's close enough. The woodshed. Yep. It was
Okay.
in the Zappa Shack, as we call it.
Good job.
Who came in? Oh,
Good
Cigar
job.
Buff is almost there. All right, Cigar Buff. We'll talk. I know I'm going to see you this week, so.
So you guys,
I'll give him a shout out. That's a fantastic example. I know he's doing some things around having therapy sessions with cigars involved, and think about the therapeutic relaxation involved with that. And
really?
I saw that, and I said, "Hey, if we can help you," and I know we're going to try to talk about that. So as I say, if you have ideas, anything that we can do or help promote or whatever, reach out to all of us. If you forget or you don't want to reach out to Craig or me or Bernie, reach out to any of the folks here. I know Chris, Justina, and Doc are all awesome. They're all friends. They will get you in touch or ping one of us. And as we're wrapping up, I promised you guys I will be on the after show. We'll take a couple-minute break, and I'll stay on as long as people have questions.
All right, awesome. We're past our 9. I want to thank you, Mike, Bald Man Cigars. Awesome interview. I wish you much success with the DiCE Society, and thank you for bringing us on board with you. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. You were some of our earliest encouragement and biggest supporters this whole time. As we mentioned, right up to staying up, half the night with me last night when I was bleary-eyed trying to get it done. As I said, I'll stay up as late as we need to tonight to do your after show and talk to everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, guys. DM me, Dr. Holden 72, if you want the link. I'll send it out to you, and I'll come back and check it like 10 minutes after, make sure I get everybody. We'll get you on there. So thank you. Tune in next week. Who we got next week, Chris?
Surprise. It's a surprise.
Surprise.
Surprise. I like surprises. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll
Thank you
catch you
all
next
for
Thursday.
joining. Thanks for the
Thanks
support,
for
everybody.
joining.
Thank you.